Flesher, Dr. Flesher. All right. Okay, you got it?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to Trauma Talk Radio with myself, your freedom coach. I'm here with Dean Flesher of Berkeley
School of Theology.
It used to be American Baptist Seminary of the West, and I'm still stuck back then. But my question for you today is, what is trauma to you, and how does it impact humanity?
Okay, well, trauma happens when something occurs in somebody's life that is beyond their capacity to comprehend. So I'm talking about emotional trauma, right? We have physical trauma also, which would be like a car accident where you maybe break some bones and get crushed, or, you fall and break your ankle, which I did once, and that was traumatic. Mm-hmm. But emotional trauma, when something happens that's beyond your capacity to comprehend it, or it is so outside of your moralistic world that you feel like it is wrong. It's just so wrong that you have been exposed to it, or maybe even have had to participate in it, say in the case of war, and officers and military people who are in war. And afterwards, we hear a lot about PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Yeah. People having to relive that and rethink it and try and make sense out of that. Mm-hmm. And so people who are emotionally traumatized are constantly reviewing that tape in their head over and over again, trying to make sense out of it somehow, to understand how it fits into their moral universe. Mm-hmm. And if they can't make sense out of it, they get stuck. And they keep reliving until they can come to some kind of a resolution. So it impacts our world tremendously, because most people at some point in their life will experience some kind of a trauma. And the extremity of that trauma will depend on whether or not they're able to overcome it, or whether or not they're able to make sense out of it somehow and move on from that moment and from that event. So we need to be filled with compassion for people in our world, because there is a lot of trauma and there's a lot of things that people are overwhelmed by. And so as people of faith and people who are ministering on this planet, we need to be filled with compassion and be people who are bringing healing and that healing touch to those in our world.
I love it. So I heard a couple of things that you shared to really help us overcome life traumas, and that's to really be intentional and leaning into really assessing and evaluating the impact of trauma, because it's actually an opportunity for us to expand our comprehension when we do that.
Absolutely.
And not to forget to give ourselves compassion in that, to extend compassion to ourselves as we process our traumatic experiences and come to a place of resolution to move forward and not be stuck.
Amen.
I love it. She was one of my favorite teachers, by the way. I used to go here. Okay, but that concludes our conversation for this segment. Thank you so much.
All right, thank
you, Dean, for sharing.
Thank you.
All right.